Records of the Unknown, Operation Latency, contains horror elements that may be disturbing to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
You are listening to an Atomic Broadcasting production, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the feature presentation. And remember, do your part, such as like, comment, rate, and don't forget to tell a friend to tune in for an Atomic Time.
November 19th, 8:45 p.m. The night is dark, but not any darker than this whole day has been. Corporal Adams, Dr. Steele, and Dr. Peter Kent all sit in the bar. It's dimly lit. No one is there as the bar is closed due to Alan Haley's disappearance, which the two of you know, being that Alan Haley is dead in the Haverfield farm. As the three of you have spent this time talking, maybe just staring in silence, coming down from the day that you have just experienced, the conversation kind of takes a bit of a pivot as Dr. Kent asks, have you all seen Amanda lately?
Amanda, sorry, I don't think I picked up on that name.
Oh, yes, she is Timothy's mother, the young boy who passed away. She was supposed to stay by in the bar with Alan, because the doctors were coming for her in the morning from the sanitarium, and I haven't seen her since, and she's not still here.
Corporal Adams just takes a big swig out of the bottle of whiskey that he's drinking out of and doesn't say anything.
Add that to another one in the town that I suppose we'll try to find, but my hopes are not high.
Well, hopefully she's with Alan. I don't know where he went either. He never leaves this place, and supposed to watch her.
Yes, it's a bit odd. Were you spending your whole time in the office? In the clinic?
Yes. Valerie helped me take the body in, and she helped me out with a few things, and then took off. And I've just been in there, and I had the epiphany, and laid out all of the organs and such, and saw that it's kind of coming together very... it feels like it's a pattern to some sort of completion of a body, you know?
It's very strange how they are always coming through like that. And whenever Valerie left, did you notice if she was behaving oddly at all the time?
She was her normal cranky self, I suppose.
Was she wearing shoes?
I would imagine. I don't make a habit of looking at people's feet or shoes. It'd be quite dangerous to go without any footwear.
Yes. Perhaps we'll need to regroup in the morning, I suppose, but I am concerned, because I did speak to her when we came back to town. I had some questions for her, and she seemed a bit odd. From what you remember as her old cranky self, she didn't seem to trust the sheriff very much, did she?
No, she's been on to John for a long time about the whole Sasha situation, and she's not been his biggest fan since then. Not that I can blame her, of course.
Yes, that's one thing I definitely find concerning, was when I was speaking to her and mentioned that, or asking her if she had happened to see the sheriff come back to town, she mentioned that she trusted what he was doing, and that's not the impression I got from her when I spoke to her the other day.
I see.
Have you been feeling well, Dr. Kent?
Yes, I've been fine.
Have you been taking anything for headaches or?
No.
No?
Nope, I'm fine. I'm just fine. Though now I'm concerned about several people.
Physically you're fine. I can understand this takes a greater toll than that. And I look at Corporal Adams, just kind of knowing of like, oh man, even before this job, we've seen things. How much do you come across Aurora? I know she doesn't come to the clinic.
Very little. In the, just the couple of years I've been back, I've hardly seen her.
Has she ever approached you?
Approached me?
Yes,
No.
has she come up to you?
She doesn't really ever approach anyone.
Just outside of the clinic?
No, she never come in. I thought she would have at least come to Tommy's funeral. Didn't even see her there.
I'm concerned I might have scared her off from that. She was there before the service began.
Ah,
But as I went to ask some more questions of Valerie and Johan, she had left her seat.
I see. Well, we each grieve in our own ways, I suppose.
Yes. Corporal Adams, I see, takes a drink.
Yes.
Dr. Steele takes a big swig of his as well. I think if he has a choice, he's drinking brandy.
Well, I should probably get some sleep.
If we can, we should all get some sleep. Make sure to lock up tight.
Yes, keep an ear out, in case Alan comes back.
We always do. Take care of yourself, Peter.
I'll do my best.
Oh, Peter, before you go,
Yes?
do you keep a firearm with you?
No, not typically. Not much of a...
Do you have any that you take with you if you need to go out and say a house call and maybe you come across a bear?
No, I've never taken a weapon on a house call. I suppose things are getting quite dangerous, though. I'll take my chances, though, I believe.
Give me one moment. I want to go look in Alan's quarters for if Alan had a weapon here somewhere. Or even behind the bar stash. Although I doubt, if he knows the town well enough, I don't think they get that rowdy.
There's a shotgun behind the bar.
It's a bit heavier than I would hope, but take this with you, Peter.
Oh, okay, sure. Just kind of holds his hands out, just picks it up, holding it very awkwardly.
You know how to use that thing?
No,
You want me to give you some pointers?
no, it's fine.
All right.
I'll be fine. He starts swinging it around a little.
Oh, whoa there, cowboy.
That duck, like, oh gosh, are those
Right, yes.
Don't point it at anything you don't want to shoot.
finger off the trigger until you're ready.
Well, I'll do my best here with this thing.
I pray you don't need it, but things can be dangerous, especially as of late
Yes.
with what happened to Lucas. Just an added measure of protection.
Right. I will do my best to protect myself.
Sleep well, Dr. Kent.
Yes, I think you've all done a great job of helping me with that. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes.
May you find some rest as well. And I really hope I don't find any more bodies in the morning. And then he opens the door. The storm is still raging. The rain starts coming in. He's like, kind of takes one last look back at you guys. And then struggles to pull the door closed because of the wind and just slams it, and he's out.
And I'll watch from the window until he's out of sight or back in his clinic if I can see that far in the storm.
Yeah, you're watching. You lose sight of him, and then the lighthouse spins back around, and you can see him. In each rotation, he's there until he gets back to his house.
Things really turned up on us, didn't they, Corporal Adams?
This whole thing's gone to hell.
Yes. It's a shame for Agent Bellamy. Do you know if she had anyone back in the States?
We didn't have enough time to talk. You took that ring off of her, I assume.
I did.
She had someone, I wouldn't know who.
My hope is to return it for them, at least give them some sense of closure, perhaps.
Well, maybe somebody at Delta Green can track him down.
Hopefully. And she was the only one that knew how to fly us out of here.
Don't think I haven't thought of that.
I doubt Abe will help us on a boat for that measure either.
I don't think we want to see Abe again. We did kind of knock out some of his guards and escape from his facility.
Yes.
And we know because his truck's not here that he missed his fishing trip that he said was very important. He didn't want to miss, but considering that I think the power structure of that place got shaken up a little bit.
With Trenton's death. Well, I'm not sure how Delta Green comes about cleaning up this place, if it even matters of recovering anything. If one of us makes it out here, or if I can make it out of here, is there anyone that you'd like me to reach out to?
He will take a second when you ask him that, and then reach into one of his pockets. He will pull out a very crinkled, you can tell that he's been carrying it with him for a long time, picture of a family. You'll recognize Corporal Adams, but also there's a woman and a little girl. Looks like they're maybe at a fair or something. Smiling, typical family photo. He hands it to you. That's my wife Elaine and my daughter Sarah. If you make it out and I don't, I would appreciate you at least telling them. They live in Ohio. And I typically wouldn't tell somebody that, but
I understand.
Given the circumstances.
I understand. I'll do my best to find him if at least that comes out on our side of things, but I'm afraid that perhaps we're not going to leave here, but at least maybe that will give us some sense of reassurance, hopefully.
How about you, Doc? You got anybody?
I do. My son, Robert Steele. He's back in New York. I know it can be a bit hard to find, but
Yeah, it's not a small place.
no. We had moved over. Well, my son and my wife had moved over here during the events of the Blitz, but I stayed back and tried to help as best I could as a doctor while that was going on. I was able to catch up with them, and they kind of had a place already settled. Small little place there in the city. But as our business does, we've been traveling. I've been traveling much since. I'm not exactly sure. Last letter I heard from him, I think he was courting someone. I hope that's still going well. Afraid I might have already missed the wedding, but I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of distant since this job is taking up a lot.
I understand.
But yes, if you have it, you can reach out to my son, and he'll reach into his wallet as he can and produce much more of a professional headshot for the time, I suppose. Provides it. He's a bit older, certainly, but I'm sure he'll be fine. He's a smart boy. And he can be the one that would break the news to Dottie.
Well, listen, Doc. We've already lost one on this mission, and I'm going to do my best to make sure we don't lose any more.
Oh, I'm sure this town already has it in a rough shape. As I was speaking of Kent, I'm a bit concerned for Valerie. I think she's the next one to have something going on inside. But we'll have to see. There's nothing I was concerned to try and face her alone tonight, certainly. With the way one caused a huge trouble for a bunch of us.
Yeah.
We should get our rest.
Yeah. I'm exhausted.
In the event that Abe comes back and comes looking for where we've been sleeping, I'm going to rest up in Alan's quarters back here.
Be my guest.
So, Dr. Steele, you go into Alan's bedroom. It's pretty simple. There's not much in there. But for their bed and some pictures of a family, a wife, 3 kids. but there's not much else to note in there, so you head into the bed and start settling in. Corporal Adams, you find yourself alone in the bedroom with 3 beds.
I think I'm going to pretty much go straight to bed.
The 2 of you begin heading to bed. Will you both make a sanity check?
13 under 55.
98 over 21.
Doctor can hit a power check as well.
That is 23 under 75.
The night begins. Dr. Steele, you sleep quite well. You're not awoken. The night passes well. Corporal Adams, sleep is very hard to come by right now. You toss, you turn, you look at the empty beds. You are visited upon by nightmares, ones of past and ones quite fresh. You hear a gunshot, you feel it in your hands, the reverberations of a pistol, and when you your eyes jump open again as you're trying to sleep, in your hands is this woman this Amanda, as you learn her name, is just in your hands, lifeless corpse. And the room begins to glow a variety of colors as you're holding on to her. You just keep hearing some faint buzzing, shifting of wood, small skittering around the room, but nothing that ever catches your eye all night until you hear, the both of you hear, a gunshot outside. Corporal, that knocks you out of your haze as you realize this is not one of the many you've heard all night, but is something real. And you lose 2 willpower points, bringing you down to 2, meaning you'll treat all of your stats as at minus 20. Dr. Steele, you're sleeping quite soundly when you hear the sound of a gunshot go off.
Better not be Peter. I rushed to get on my coat. I don't even think I undressed when I just went to sleep in the bed.
Yeah, same.
Coat on, shoes on, out.
You both meet each other at the door. Outside is still pitch black, as if the sun had never risen. The storm is still raging on, and you start seeing people with lanterns moving towards the mine.
Do I see anyone that I recognize?
It's most everyone you'd see in town begins heading that way, Peter among them.
I look around to see if Abe's truck had returned.
It still looks as though it's not there.
Okay, I follow Peter.
Do I see Aurora anywhere?
No.
Then I will follow the doctor.
And I don't see Valerie anywhere around here, do I?
She is in the crowd.
She is in the crowd. Okay.
You can you recognize what she was wearing, though it's hard to recognize people. As everyone's getting up to the mine, no one is approaching the entrance of the mine, as no one is sure what to do.
Dr. Kent, what's going on here?
I'm not sure. I heard a gunshot and I saw people moving this way, so I thought, see what's going on. It doesn't look like there's anything outside. We don't have, John's not, I haven't seen John, and Lucas isn't here.
Where's Dan Haley?
He starts looking around. I don't see him, and his house is not lit, so I don't know if he's awake. He might still be asleep. I could go check on him.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, I'll go do that. I trust you two to take care of the situation, take control or something like that, I suppose. And then he runs off.
Does it look like the crowd is panicked at all, or
There's a lot of talking, mostly in a panic way of like, what's going on? Anyone see anything?
ladies and gentlemen, I'll kind of move up the crowd a little bit. Does anybody know what's happened here? Anybody see anything?
Everyone's kind of looking at each other. Everyone's kind of shaking their head, trying to see if maybe, have you heard? Have you heard? No. Everyone seems to be in the same boat of just hearing it.
We're federal agents. I'm sure you all have seen us in town. We're going to investigate this. Please stay calm.
If you have no pertinent information about this event, please return to your homes. Stay warm. We will discuss this at a future date once we have further information.
If anybody has any information on the whereabouts of the sheriff or Dan Haley, let us know.
Can I make a persuade check just like
What is your persuasion?
40?
That situation with that is enough for them to kind of all... The crowd, when you ask, does anyone have any information about the whereabouts, they all kind of look at each other, again, with the same, like, no, and then a couple of people kind of roll their eyes and go no and kind of start leaving, and then other people start following along.
As long as they're going back to their homes, we don't want them to
Yeah, no,
rally.
it's better for civilians to stay back. Lower chances of them getting hurt. You wait for Peter to get back. If there's a shooting going on, time's of the essence. I'm going to go in.
Okay. Is there a signal you want?
If you hear more shooting,
Okay. I just didn't want to assume only that.
or if you hear me yelling for you, you come on. I will draw my pistol and I will enter the mine.
I will stay here, keeping a beat on Valor. Does she also just kind of return to her home?
Yeah, you look back to try and find her and you don't see her.
All right.
Corporal Adams, as you're walking into this mine, you get a little ways in. There's no light again, aside from just your flashlight. And you begin to feel a shaking, almost like you're in an earthquake. You're kind of almost losing your balance because of how much it's shaking. And then it starts to calm down.
Okay. I will continue on. I need to figure out where that gunshot came from.
You continue forward as you're walking. Sometimes when you step, it sounds like something much larger type footsteps accompany yours. And you keep moving. And some of your steps shake the ground around you, it feels like. And you keep stepping. And you see up ahead an opening, and you see a couple of flashing lights in the darkness. You hear what sounds like the flapping of wings, like an insect's wings. But you also hear footsteps that sound like one foot is dragging, moving ahead of you.
And I currently don't see anything but the lights through the opening.
Right. You can move. You're still a ways away from the opening.
Okay, I'd like to get closer. I would also like to be stealthy.
You begin to approach. The light becomes this azure blue that begins just intensifying to light up the whole little opening, the cave opening. And you see the sheriff with a shotgun in his hand, kind of looking around absent-mindedly, walking, his right leg kind of dragging behind him. And you see laying in the middle of the room Dan Haley's body, looking like its head had just been partly blown off by a shotgun.
Does the sheriff look injured? Is his leg injured? Is that why it's dragging, or is there anything?
It's hard to fully tell with the light, the color that it is, but it does look like he has some sort of head wound. And there's blood on him.
Okay. How deep into the mine am I? If I were to yell, do you think that the doctor could hear me from here? Or
with
am
the
I too
storm going on outside, you don't expect him to hear you at this rate.
And do I still hear those other, like the flapping and the... Well, the other thing I was hearing was the sheriff's foot dragging.
Right. You don't hear the flittering of wings, but you hear a faint buzzing.
What state, like you said the sheriff was just kind of like... Does he look dazed? Is that...
He's got his back to you, and
Okay.
he's kind of shuffling around with the shotgun in one hand, just kind of...
Mostly because I feel like this is, in fact, what Corporal Adams would do because of the kind of guy that he is. I'm going to step not into the chamber that the sheriff is in, but I'm going to stand in like the doorway in the passage, like the entryway. I'm going
the
to
threshold.
Right, yeah, stand on the threshold. Take out my pistol, point it at him, go, "What's going on here, Sheriff?"
He sort of stops, and the light starts becoming this slimy green color, this almost neon, but not. It's hard to describe. It's like a shade of green you've never seen before. And the sheriff stops and turns to face you. His left eye is hanging out, and in his nose you can see what looks like brains coming out. Would you roll a sanity check?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
76 over 21.
You lose 2 sanity points.
That brings me down to a new breaking point. My breaking point's at 19. That's I just hit it.
So you see this the sheriff in this state moving around. You see the blood pouring down from his forehead as he looks like he's just looking. Both of his eyes are moving towards you. Even the one hanging is moving to face you, and he starts raising his shotgun.
I already have my gun pointed at him. I shoot. 27 under 60.
Okay, well, you roll damage.
Sure. That's a 9.
You put the bullet rings, echoing all throughout the cave, making its way to the doctor's ears as your shot rings forward directly into his head. As it hits his head, the top from the middle of his forehead up in a circle around his head comes off. And there's no brain splatter. There looks to be no brains at all in there. The bullet has just ripped apart this unfilled skin wrap of a face. And he falls to his knees. And then collapses. The light then changes to a very vibrant orange or purple or red. You're not sure what it is. It's this color that you've seen before when you've seen the colors change recently, and you hear that buzzing and the skittering, the flittering of wings again above you. As when you look up, you see this growth in the ceiling where the light is coming from begin to start moving, and its wings start moving, and it starts floating down, and you notice it looks like crab-like, but also like the fungus you've seen before, like it's a vegetation. And as you're looking at it, lightning flashes out from it.
Make it
So roll a dodge check.
dot check. Yep. Six under 30.
So this lightning flashes out, and you take a step to the right as it blasts into the floor below you. And this thing is now hovering about 15 feet off of the ground. Can I get a sanity check for him?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
That's important.
See if my luck holds out. That's 44 over 19.
You lose 6 sanity points. Doctor, you heard this gunshot.
I will, on that, waste no time to start booking it as fast as I can down the cave.
So, Corporal, as it's hovering there and you've stepped out of the way, you look back up and it is another bolt of lightning comes flying out of it.
So if I dodge,
You lose your turn.
I lose my turn, which would mean I can't fight back or run, so I'm not going to do anything?
Okay. The lightning strikes you. However, it doesn't feel like the electricity that burned your arm a bit ago. It instead feels almost like what one would say a taser feels like. And you find yourself unable to control yourself for just a little bit, giving you the stunned condition, meaning you'll lose your next turn. And this creature continues its descent towards you.
Do I take any damage or just get this done?
No damage.
Okay.
As it's getting closer to you, you're looking at it as it's... Every now and again, it goes from this full corporeal state into this mix of colors, as if just disappearing temporarily. As you're watching it, it goes from this untouched mass, and it flashes a bit, and you see this spark of flame, and now it's looks like it's burned. It's got like scars of fire on it. Doctor,
Yes.
you are continuing to run down this mine shaft. You see flashes of like light up ahead, but you're not able to quite get close enough yet. But you see it coming from ahead.
I have the shotgun ready for whatever I'm about to arrive on.
Corporal Adams, you watch as this thing descends upon you, not touching the ground, but getting very close to you, as its 2 eyes, no 8, no 20 eyes look directly at you. Small little claws, nippers, reach out to you and dig into your skin, dealing 2 points of damage, and like wrapping around you, pinning you. Doctor, you come running around this corner and see this opening into a chamber. You see the corporal standing there, frozen, with a pistol in his hand. You see 2 dead bodies laying on the ground, and above the corporal you see this crustacean vegetable thing hovering above him. Will you roll sanity for me?
Yes. That is an 80 over 55.
Lose 6 sanity,
Okay.
unless you'd like to project it.
I will project that.
So roll a d4.
4.
So you only take 2 sanity damage. You lose 4 willpower points, and you decrease a bond by 4. What bond would you like to damage?
My wife Dottie's is now at 1.
Now that you've seen this thing, how would you like to act?
Is there anything I can do to try to help the corporal get out of his stun? Or
Yeah, if you have a skill you think you could use to help unpin him from this claw thing.
can I use my unarmed combat to try and break the creature's pin?
Sure. Yeah, I will allow it.
38 under 60 for unarmed combat.
You are able to grab on and loosen it enough that the corporal's able to slip out from this pin.
Run!
I guess taking his word, try to start making my, not like booking it, but like keeping an eye on the thing and backing towards the exit with my gun ready. But that's just me. Like,
I do have one question.
Yes.
This is a mine. Is there any dynamite? Any explosive blasting.
Roll a luck check.
42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Why, yes, there is, in one of the quote-unquote corners of this circular chamber, there is what looks like an area where they are expanding the mine, digging deeper, and there is, in fact, some low explosive dynamite.
Cool.
Explosives devices that you could set up or use.
Yeah, I want to run over and grab as much of that as I can.
So, Corporal, you rush over and start grabbing some of these explosives. The creature is watching. It turns to follow you, but it's still turned to look at the doctor, like two things at once. And then, Doctor, as you're turning to run away, it disappears and then reappears further down the exit.
I will back away from it, I guess deeper into the big circular chamber, and still shotgun in hand, go for firing it. 30 over 20.
You fire wildly into the wall, lighting up a hall as it is now seemingly almost floating its way towards you.
I will definitely go back towards where the doctor is because there's nothing else for me to do. I don't think throwing a stick of dynamite at this thing and our only exit is a good idea. So I guess put what I have in like my pocket and try to draw my gun and shoot it, I guess. Maybe firing over the doctor's shoulder. I don't know. I don't know where our position's at exactly. 44 under 60.
That's a critical hit.
It is.
What damage does it your die
It's
do?
a D10, so that would be 10 damage.
You blast off a chunk of its thorax, question mark, and it seems to like back away in pain. And as it's doing that, the colors begin flashing, cycling through 6 different colors: red, yellow, blue, silver. These colors you don't recognize. As this creature is reeling back in pain, the right claw thing begins to, in a flash of light, burn away. Part of its head follows the same pattern, with the burn marks appearing as scars, and it begins to flash really quickly in and out, like it's disappearing, like it's turning into what it did when it just appeared somewhere else very quickly, as if it doesn't exist, and it exists again, and it's gone. But on the floor is a shirt that looks partly burned.
Do I recognize it?
No, it's just like a buttoned up shirt that you would wear at a business office. The creature is gone. Corporal Adams holding the dynamite. Dr. Steele staring forward. The shirt laying on the floor, partly burned. And in a flash of light, we fade to black.
Thank you for listening to the Records of the Unknown Operation Latency. Records of the Unknown is an Atomic Broadcasting production. Delta Green is copyright of Arc Dreams Publishing. Operation Latency is not published or endorsed by Arc Dreams Publishing and is an original module created and run by Sam Sarver. Our players are Nolan as Dr. Sylvester Steele and Harrel as Corporal Alexander Adams. Music in the show is from Monument Studios, as well as various artists. If you enjoy the show, be sure to subscribe or follow the Atomic Broadcasting Network on your favorite listening platform. If you want to stay in touch, you can follow us on our socials listed in the description. Join the community in our Discord server to be notified of future uploads and join in on the conversation of what's to come. Don't forget to like, comment, and tell a friend. And as always, have an atomic time.
I love this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you didn't have anything planned for that ritual, Sam, because...
Oh, it's still going to happen. You think you being dead is going to stop it?
I'm okay with that.